This video is a 1 month on look at my Dyson Light Ball, which I initially reviewed in another video with a link in the description. I bought this on offer for 200 quid and it's well worth considering given how amazing it is. This is easily the best vacuum cleaner I've ever owned, including past Dyson cleaners, and has turned a hard work chore into something simple and effortless. It's so easy to use and push around that I don't actually get worn out anymore. And it's so quiet, I'm still amazed by it. Really easy to carry around and upstairs and so on. It gives unbelievably good cleaning results. All that talk about 90 air watts I'm convinced is not actually that relevant and is presumably just something that marketing use in the headlining. That it only uses a 700 watt motor is also amazing, and it doesn't pump out much heat unlike the previous 1400 watt cleaner I had, and the room doesn't even get hot now. It's just so easy and comfortable to vacuum with this. The cleaner head is still the star feature for me. It makes the vacuum so versatile and capable of picking up all kinds of messes, like dust or cereal, and on all my different floor types. I thought I'd just quickly discuss how the different modes work again. The head has the main opening underneath, a side bleed hole at each side to help with edge cleaning, front large pickup channels, and 2 vents on the top. Minus mode is supposed to be used on carpets where suction would otherwise make it hard to push around. I use this mode on my thick pile plush carpets and it glides over them so easily and cleans them spotlessly. It closes the front pickup channels so air can only come up through the main opening, but cleverly it opens the top 2 bleed vents, which help equalize pressure at just the right amount and prevents the head from clamping down too hard on the floor, making it too hard to push around. It's the perfect mode for standard cleans on my carpets. The normal mode I use on my hard floors. So this mode is perfect for picking up big bits that aren't dust, like rice or cereal or stones that get walked in. It closes the top bleed vents but opens the 2 front channels to let the big bits get in. Because the cleaner head seals down onto a hard floor much better than carpet, the front vents offer a bigger relief than the top bleed vents, and at the same time they allow the big bits to get sucked in. It's really clever and allows the head to glide effortlessly. It works absolutely perfectly and is so easy to push around on hard floors. This head gets really big bits up as well as like fine dust and flour. I'm really pleased with these 2 modes and they solve every problem I've had with vacuum heads in the past. The plus mode I never really use. It closes the front large debris channels and the pressure relief vents on top so suction can only come up through the main opening. This offers maximum suction if it's ever needed on a particularly bad mess, but all that raw suction does make the head clamp down really hard to the floors, and it's not something I'd have on as default. I love how this vacuum always lifts crushed carpets and brings up the pile perfectly without any rug strip lines or unswept lines where the belt drive would be. The side edge pickup on this machine is really good, especially on hard floors. So this is a nice demo showing how it sucks large particles into the head from the side using those side suction channels. That's really clever design and really works in normal use in the home. And the brush bar doesn't unnecessarily aggressively beat the carpet, making huge amounts of noise. So when the brush bar's on, it's really quiet and helps the vacuum push around more easily on carpets. And it agitates by just the right amount and only underneath the cleaner head, so there's no particles bouncing around all over the place where they're not actively being sucked up, i.e. directly under the cleaner head. There's no point in that. Excessive agitation doesn't actually clean better for normal household messes, so specifically the exaggerated YouTube messes you sometimes see don't really reflect the performance you'd actually get. And this is for reasons that I'll discuss in another video. So excessive agitation just tends to make more noise unnecessarily. Emptying and cleaning the bin is actually really easy. I've heard some people complain bagless cleaners always produce unavoidable mess when you empty the bin, but it's actually fairly easily avoided and super quick to empty. And not having thick vacuum bags means you don't add unnecessarily to landfill and have an avoidable impact on the environment. As I mentioned in the initial review, if you just lower the bin into a cheap thin plastic bag or down into the waste bin, open the trapdoor and lift the bin while shaking gently so the dust slides out carefully without splashing, then you don't make a cloud like you would if you dropped it from height. It really is as easy as this, and when you're done, you just get a dry dusting cloth and give the outside a wipe if there's anything on there before putting the bin back on the machine. Super easy, quick and clean. A minimal environmental impact without extra running costs having to buy more vacuum bags. It's a really great design and definitely the way to do things. The fine mesh shroud can accrete fine dust over time, but it's really easy to clean off. You just take the bin off and remove the outer casing, and then wipe over it with a dry dusting cloth. Any bits that land on the floor you can quickly suck up afterwards, or you can just do it over the sink. One thing you shouldn't do to clean this fine dust off the shroud is to use a brush though, because that will flick it all into the air, which is the last place you want it, breathing it in. Just wipe it gently and it's gone in a few seconds. I thought I'd quickly show reattaching the bin cover again. You just put the catch into the hole at the back, and then push up on the other side until the button clicks into place. And then you can close the trapdoor, making sure the catch is clipped into the groove. I decided to check the filters, which are supposed to be rinsed once a month. The cyclones on this machine are so efficient that despite all the dust and the flour and the muck I've picked up, there was nothing obvious on the filter cap or where the air comes out of the cyclones to the pre-motor filter, and the filter was spotless. I decided not to clean it this time and see just how long I can make it last before it gets visible dirt on it, and there's been no loss of suction. Dyson always used to recommend filter rinse every 6 months, then 3 and now 1, but I can't really see why, and they never really explained it. Also, that initial chemical smell from the filters seems to have faded away now. I also checked the post-motor HEPA filter, which was also spotless. The maneuverability of this vacuum on the ball is literally second to none. Once you learn how to drive it, it's just so versatile and maneuverable. You can make some really sharp turns so easily, and it just makes moving it where you want to feel so obedient and easy. No other movement system or swivel head design I've tried is this capable and liberating. Another thing I've seen people complain about is that it's difficult to wheel around on the back 2 wheels, but that's because you're not supposed to. I'm not even sure why they're wheels actually, instead of just non-rotating legs. They're just there to help the ball keep the machine upright when you're not holding it. Wheeling a vacuum round on the back wheels is a throwback to the days before advanced manoeuvring systems like this were developed. The best way to move this vacuum around when it's off is actually the exact same way to move it around when it's on. You just drive it. Well, that or just pick it up with the handle. The magnetic upright lock works so well now. As long as you hear a click, you know it's stuck and never suddenly falls over like with the mechanical catches older models had that people complained about. Dyson seemingly listened to the user feedback niggles and fixed it well. It's also so easy to use accessory tools on this machine. You literally just whip out the hose, stick the tool on, pull the wand out until it clicks, or remove it completely depending on what you're doing, and you're done. And to put it back, you just push the button and slide the wand back down into the hose, slot it back into the machine and whip the tool off the end. It takes seconds once you know how, and I don't know any other vacuum which is that quick or slick and user friendly. Another really nice thing about this vacuum is how it maintains incredible suction at these lower motor powers. A consequence of this is that the hose now doesn't yank back really hard in use. It's just so much easier to control and isn't hard work using it when it's stretched out. It feels really responsive and light in comparison, and I don't get tired anymore using it and cleaning the stairs, for example. And I love the tangle-free turbine tool. It's the best design of mini motorised tools I've ever seen. It's surprisingly quiet now, and a lot quieter than it used to be. Yet it still sucks really hard and brilliantly removes the tough fine hairs. It sounds like some super futuristic geared machine when it's spinning as well. And it never gets hairs wrapped around on it. It's genuinely maintenance free. It's easily the best design of turbo tool on the market and completely blows the competition away. There are a few minor issues and niggles I've had with this vacuum though, but they are minor. I find it slightly awkward having to faff with the upholstery tool when I only want the crevice tool because of the way it sits on the top of the nozzle. It's just extra work and hassle. Another issue I've had is that the upholstery tool can get knocked off sometimes because it's wide and can catch on the cable or your leg. I have found that pressing it on quite hard and twisting it so it's as plush to the machine as possible helps, and I find that I don't tend to knock it off anything like as much as I used to anymore. But I still think the upholstery tool should have its own dedicated storage location on the main machine. Also, I find the brush strands on the combination tool can get bent sometimes because they're so near the bin. I'll still find it a bit difficult to reach the top step of the stairs before the landing and think the hose should have been just a few centimetres longer. But I do find I can pull a bit harder on the hose to get it to stretch a bit more, which eases things, but it's not ideal really. I've seen some YouTube videos suggesting people are worried about the top cap that covers the wand on the handle because they think it's flimsy and could snap off. While you can move it around, I'm fairly confident it's not flimsy as such, but is intentionally elastic and flexible. Modern material science and associated chemistry has allowed some very advanced polymers to be manufactured that have great durability and elasticity. Any part of a vacuum that feels flimsy, such as the handle, I think is a psychological throwback to a time when most manufacturers didn't use a smart choice of materials for their polymer plastics, and they were very brittle. So flimsy meant easily cracked and broken. But manufacturers like Dyson have moved on to use more advanced materials developed in recent years that are flexible and elastic and don't crack and shatter. They're far more durable and much lighter weight than metals. This flexibility is also important in mechanical design, as it allows mechanical spring to carefully distribute forces that are applied during use. Mechanical spring and elasticity are not the same as flimsiness for these advanced polymer materials. The materials used in this Dyson vacuum are aggressively and abusively tested, according to the official videos, to check these things. After quite a lot of twisting and bending it myself, I'm reasonably confident the one cap isn't going to get broken off, short of intentionally excessive, violent and aggressive abuse to actually try to destroy it. I still feel this vacuum should have had the existing technology of a self-cleaning shroud and Dyson's kinetic tips removing the filter maintenance. If that had been in there, it would have been a truly stunning product, although no doubt considerably more expensive as well. So if I were to rate it according to the criteria I've outlined in another video about how to measure the holistic performance of a vacuum, I'd rate it as shown in these 3 labels covering each area. Its cleaning performance is excellent across the board. Its edge cleaning is very, very good thanks to the side suction channels, although the sweat path region could be a bit larger on the right and the front edges. It's also got the best filtration performance on the market, with the exception of Dyson's own kinetic technology, which is a quantum leap in filtration. This vacuum is super easy to move around, both on hard floors and all kinds of carpets because of the suction head controls. The ball technology is the best on the market for maneuverability and control, and the low mass of the vacuum means it has very little inertia pushing it around, so feels as light as the name suggests for a full-size upright. The tools are optimised to give the widest use cases with the minimum number of tools, and they're well designed and easy and quick to put on and take off. You can easily get under low furniture using the wand. The hose could be a bit longer to make accessing the 12th step a bit less of a strain, but the hose is attached to the bottom of the vacuum at least, so you don't pull it over when you tug it. And it's easy to use the hose because the pullback is so low now. There's very little maintenance required, very infrequently on this machine. It's not completely maintenance free though, due to the lack of the kinetic technology, but there are 2 filters which need rinsing every month, although you could likely get away with much longer time periods than this from what I've seen of the performance of the Cyclones. It's really quick and hygienic to empty the bin, but I do think a self-cleaning shroud would have helped save the need to dedust the fine mesh shroud. The environmental impact of this machine is relatively very low. It achieves these amazing cleaning results using only 700 watts and requires no replacement bags or filters, meaning no extra costs and huge savings to landfill. All the non-electronic parts are made from lightweight and advanced materials and polymers, and it's a really lightweight machine. It's super quiet, and judging from the aggressiveness of how it's tested, I'm sure highly durable, and I'm confident that it will last at least 10 years, even though it's only guaranteed for the first 5. So thanks for listening, and I'll leave you with an absurdly unrealistic mess cleanup demo for fun. While it might look like it at first glance, this isn't an effective demonstration of how good this vacuum really is. It's just for fun. So go and buy one. They're still on offer for £200 as of the 16th of October, and outclass across the board everything else I've seen.